In this video, I would like to talk about a doctrine, again interesting, under Article 21 called the Doctrine of Public Trust. The Doctrine of Public Trust. See, in fact, you see the width of Article 21. It is the most, it is the widest amplitude in article, in the Constitution, in the fundamental rights. The word liberty can be extended, in a liberal interpretation. When you start looking at it in a liberal way, in a open-minded way, you can see so many things coming under this Article 21. So that is what I would like to talk in this particular video, the Doctrine of Public Trust. Very simple thing. So this basically is an ancient Roman law, an ancient Roman Empire legal theory. Roman Empire legal theory, we can say, the Doctrine of Public Trust. See, in the Doctrine of Public Trust, it is the principle that certain resources like air, sea, water, forest, etc. have great importance. So, certain resources like air, water, sea, in the coastal area, coastal beaches, forests, etc. have great importance to the people as a whole, to the society, for the community, for the people as a whole. Okay, for the people as a whole. And it would be totally unjustified to make them a subject of private ownership. It will be totally unjustified if it is made private. If a private ownership is there of such things, it will be totally unjustified. And it also says that the doctrine enjoins upon the government to protect the resources. So, it is the duty of the government to protect the resources so that the general public can use it properly. So, this public trust doctrine has two purposes. It has two purposes. Number one, an affirmative state action should be there for the effective management of the resources. So, one is an affirmative state action, is required. Affirmative state action is required for effective management of resources. For effective management of. So, affirmative state action should be there, number one. Number two, it empowers the citizens. It also empowers citizens to question the ineffective management. Okay. Number two is it empowers the citizens to question the ineffective management of such resources. Okay. So, this doctrine of public trust, now in India, now this is the meaning of it. Now coming to in India, so now coming to in India, what is happening? So, this this has been extended in recent years in India also. It is a duty, it is placing a duty on the state to uphold the environmental resources, or rather to protect the environmental resources and the ecological preservation. It should be there, it is the duty of the state. And according to Supreme Court, under Article 21, the right to life, it requires the protection and preservation of nature's gift. It requires the protection and preservation it requires the protection and preservation of nature's gift it requires the protection and preservation of nature's gift, without which life ceases to be viable, without which our life ceases to be viable. So, if you are not protecting and preserving the nature's gift, then our life will cease to be viable and human rights will be violated. The life ceases to be viable and the human rights will be violated. So, Supreme Court has extended this doctrine of public trust into Article 21 and said that if the state is not protecting the environment, if it is not preserving the nature's gift, then it will, it will affect or it will cease our life, or rather the life ceases to be viable. It will not be easy for us to live and our human rights will be violated. And that means Article 21 is extended to the concept of the Article 21 has been liberally interpreted to include the right to have a healthy environment and right to livelihood. So, from this, what is the meaning in the public trust? So, we have extended or we have expanded the scope of Article 21. We have expanded the scope of Article 21 and said that there is right to have a healthy environment, right to have a healthy environment, and a right to livelihood, and right to livelihood. And it is a duty of the state to ensure that there is a right to healthy environment under Article 21. There is a public right. It is a duty of the state to protect the air, water, clean air and water, protect the sea front, protect the lake front, protect the forests. And so, this right to life is an application of public trust doctrine to protect and preserve the public land. So, this right to life is an application of the public trust to protect and preserve the public land. So, there is a very famous case called MC Mehta versus Kamal Nath. MC Mehta, a famous lawyer and a Maxus award winner versus Kamal Nath case. Kamal Nath, the former the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, and he has a resort. He had a resort in Himachal Pradesh, and what happened was that they used the forest land to divert the flow of the river. The river Bias there, they diverted the flow of the river also to protect the the resort. But Supreme Court, the MC Mehta filed a case in the Supreme Court and Supreme Court gave the verdict, and because since it is in the newspaper, in the national newspaper it was published that this motel or rather this resort management interfered with the natural flow of the river in order to divert its course to save the resort from floods. Supreme Court initiated a suo motu case on the newspaper item, and then Supreme Court, in this case, MC Mehta became a party to that, started in the public doctrine said that primarily this doctrine rests on the principle that certain resources like air, sea, water, forest, etc. has great importance to the people as a whole, and it would be unjustified to make them a subject to private ownership. And Supreme Court also applied the polluter pays principle in this. Polluter pays principle, and the Supreme Court asked the party to pay for directing the developer to pay compensation, so that whatever damage to the environment has been done, they should pay for that also. So, this doctrine of public trust, ultimately coming back to that was the Kamal Nath case, but the doctrine of public trust says that it's as I said, it's an ancient Roman law. It says the the public resources like air, sea, water, forest, beach, etc. is of great importance for everyone, so society as a whole, and it is totally unjustified to make them a subject to private ownership. And doctrine of public trust come under Article 21, because we have a right to life and dignified life and maximum possible life, and we have a right to have pollution free air and water. Nature's gift should be protected. It is the duty of the state to protect, so that our life can be extended. So that is how this public trust comes under Article 21.